Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Monday, April the 25th. We got 3 games Monday night. Game 4 of the Boston-Brooklyn series. Boston, has a chance to sweep Brooklyn here if they get the win. Then we got Game 5 of Toronto-Philly, and we have Game 5 of Utah and Dallas. So we're going to talk through each one of these games, go game by game, kind of talk through what stands out to me, what I like, taking a first look at the slate on Sunday night. And then, as always, as we do go through each game, we will build out an early core. We'll talk about 5 players that I like at first look on both Draftkings and on Yahoo. Now, as always, before we get started with the breakdown, appreciate the likes, guys. Make sure you hit that like button down below if you have not yet. Hit that subscribe button as well if you are new here. Also, you can go check out the sponsor of this video, PrizePicks. So PrizePicks is a player prop-based DFS site. It is very simple, very easy to use. You're just picking the over or the under on players' projections. It's a little bit different than DraftKings, FanDuel, Yahoo. It's a little bit different than traditional DFS where you're building out a lineup and you're competing against other players. This is basically just you versus their projections. So you take a look at their projections. If you think there's some lines that are off that you think you should be taking the over on or taking the under on, you make your decisions over or under. You have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 5 picks and you can win up to 10 extra money on PrizePicks. You can mix and match sports as well. PrizePicks does offer a lot of other sports outside of just NBA, so definitely give them a try if you have not yet. Sign up, use code NOAH. They will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And as always, I will share a couple of my favorite plays on PrizePicks for today. I'll have a video posted probably an hour or 2 after this video gets public, goes live. I will share that PrizePicks video. So check that video out if you guys do already play on PrizePicks. But yeah, let's talk through Monday's 3-game slate. Start off with the Boston-Brooklyn game. So Boston, like I said, they got a chance to sweep this series, to get the clean sweep going into Brooklyn. I mean, I really thought Brooklyn was going to get a win last game, and they came out and lost once again. Boston's just been playing so well. Their defense has been so good. At the top, we'll start off with Jason Tatum. He had a massive game last game in Game 3. Played 45 minutes, had 65 DraftKings points. He had 6 steals, which was a little bit of an outlier. Obviously, you can't expect him to get 6 steals again, but 39 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. I mean, Tatum's been great in the playoffs. He's been super consistent, playing huge minutes every night. I think Tatum looks like a really good pay-up option today. He's going to get 40-plus minutes if it's a close game. At $9,500, I think that price tag definitely it makes him in play today. It's not like he's too expensive. So I do like Jason Tatum. No issue with Jaylen Brown either. He's probably going to play close to 40 minutes. Obviously, the ceiling on Brown isn't as high as Tatum, but Brown's also not as expensive. I think at $8,200, that's an appropriate price tag for Jaylen Brown. He's definitely in play for me. I do prefer Tatum between the two, but no issue going to Jaylen Brown. Marcus Smart, I do like quite a bit as a mid-range, just kind of point guard option. I've been on Marcus Smart a lot so far in the playoffs. He had a really big game in Game 1, was kind of disappointing in Game 2. Last game he was solid, had 30 DK points in 38 minutes, but his minutes are going to be really good. He's going to play 36 to 40 minutes every game in the playoffs, or at least he should, as long as he's not in foul trouble, as long as the game stays close. 6,300, I think that's maybe where Marcus Smart should be priced. You could argue that he's still a little bit too cheap just with how many minutes he's going to play. Smart does average close to a fantasy point per minute, and if you expect him to play 36, 38 minutes, he probably projects for like 34, 35 DraftKings points. So I think at 6,300, Marcus Smart looks like a really good option today. I do like him in the mid-range. I've been saying it a lot so far in the playoffs. It's my kind of approach to these playoff slates is to go more balanced. It's really hard to build good stars and scrubs lineups just because there's not a ton of value. So you kind of have to look to a lot of guys in the 8K to 5K range and just kind of build around those guys. And I think a guy like Smart kind of fits that build. So I do like Marcus Smart at 6,300 on DraftKings. I think on Yahoo he looks pretty good as well. He's $20 over there. I think he looks like as a very solid point guard option on Yahoo. And then you have Al Horford, who I'm not super high on. Al Horford had a really disappointing game last game. He only played 28 minutes, which was a little weird with how many minutes he had been playing in previous games. I think Horford gets like 30, 32 minutes today, but with Robert Williams back, I'm not super high on Al Horford. Robert Williams we do need to talk about. So he's only 5,500. He's really cheap. He did play 16 minutes in his first game back from injury. They said they were going to limit him to about 20 minutes, that he could play up to 24 minutes, and he wound up playing 16. But after the game, it was reported that he was there was no problems. He felt really good. So there's a chance that Robert Williams starts today and doesn't have a minutes limit. If that's the case, I think 5,500 for Robert Williams, if he's starting without a minutes limit, he's going to be a really good option. We'll definitely have to pay attention to the Boston starting lineup. We'll have to pay attention to news throughout the day. But I think if Robert Williams is not limited, I do like him a lot at 5,500. That is too cheap for him. He's a good point per minute player. He's a guy that we saw during the regular season. He was priced kind of in that mid 6K range, kind of around 7K. So we're getting a discount on him right now. I do like him quite a bit if he's not limited today. And that's really it from Boston. I don't see anything else I'm going to here. Grant Williams has been playing well off the bench. He got 32 minutes last game. His minutes have been really good the last 2 games. He might play 25, 30 minutes again, but he's not a great point per minute player. It's hard to find guys this cheap that are going to play close to 30 minutes. So that makes Grant Williams playable. But I definitely would question the upside there. I do question the ceiling on a guy like Grant Williams. He just never been a really good point per minute player. That's it for Boston, though. Let's move on to the other side of this game with Brooklyn. So, Brooklyn, you got KD and Kyrie at the top, who I think are solid pay-up options. I know they've been disappointing lately. KD has been really bad in this series. He's just been locked down. He's been shooting the ball pretty poorly. Last game, he didn't shoot the ball, or he shot the ball pretty good. Like, efficiency was good, but he only took 11 shots. He shot 6 for 11. So, man, Boston's just done a really good job slowing down Kevin Durant. His minutes are going to be massive. He played 46 minutes last game. He might play the entire game today. Like, he literally might play every single minute. If Brooklyn even wants to have a chance to win this game, they probably have to. KD's going to have to play almost the entire game. So at 10K, I think KD's still viable. But I definitely, at this point, I am a little bit worried about just this matchup has just been so tough for KD. He's just not been able to get anything going against Boston so far. I feel better about a guy like Tatum. We'll talk about Luka later. I feel better about Luka. You have Embiid on the slate. You have Siakam, who's coming off a big game. I think KD and Kyrie are both viable, but this matchup is just so tough. These guys, they're going to play a lot of minutes, but I do kind of question the ceiling on both of them just because I think this could be another game where they're just really inefficient. They struggle to score points. They're just kind of GPP options for me. I don't think, if I'm playing one lineup today, I don't think I'm building around the Brooklyn Stars. I think they will be fairly low on both of them just because of how poorly they've played in this series. And obviously when Kyrie's playing 44, 45 minutes, when Kevin Durant's playing 46, 48 minutes, they can go for 70 Draftkings points any night. It's just this matchup has been so tough for both those guys. Boston's done a great job defensively on them. Not in love with either one of the main Brooklyn guys. Ben Simmons was expected to play today, and he's out, so that was kind of weird. It was reported that Ben Simmons would make his debut for this game, and now supposedly he got back soreness again, so he's not playing. Honestly, my thoughts on this is that with them pretty much, with almost a chance that they're going to get swept here and lose again, I feel like they didn't even want to play Ben Simmons. If this series was like tied heading into this game, or if Brooklyn was up 2-1, or if maybe Boston was up 2-1, I think maybe Ben Simmons would have played, but given they're down 0-3, 3-0, and they're probably going to get swept, I think that's why they're sitting Ben Simmons. They just don't even want him out there. Just save him for next season, I guess. It was funny to see that Ben Simmons got ruled out. But there's not much I love on Brooklyn today. Bruce Brown, he played well last game, but his price tag is just $6,500 for Bruce Brown. It just feels like way too much to pay. I know he's had some big games lately, but he's not a guy that you can consistently rely on to score 45 DraftKings points a night. Most nights, Bruce Brown's going to put up like 30, 35 DK points. The minutes are going to be really good, so that makes him a playable option. But the price tag is just a little bit too high for me. I'm not super high on Bruce Brown. Claxton off the bench probably plays like 22 to 24 minutes. He's an okay value play. But we saw, Blake Griffin get some run last game. Is Blake Griffin going to be a part of the rotation now? I really don't know. I think Brooklyn's just kind of running out of... They don't know what to do. I feel like Boston has just completely manhandled them in this series. Steve Nash is getting to the point where he's literally putting Blake Griffin out there because he just doesn't know what to do. So maybe Claxton plays like 22, 24 minutes. We've seen Drummond's minutes just go way down. Drummond only played 16 minutes last game. Until we see him play more minutes, could he play more minutes today? I guess he could, but until we see it, I'm not playing Drummond. Seth Curry, he's going to probably get like 25, 30 minutes. He just doesn't offer a ton of upside, and playing alongside Kyrie and KD, it's just hard for Seth Curry to really put up a ceiling game unless he just gets hot from three, which against this Boston defense is probably going to be tough to do. But the minutes are going to be there, which I guess makes him a playable value at 4,400. Goran Dragic, he was really good the first 2 games of the series, and last game he was just a total disappointment. He only played 9 minutes. Maybe Goran Dragic bounces back today, but I'm not super high on Goran Dragic for value. I think there's just other guys I'd probably target. So that's really it from Brooklyn. That's everything I see here. Let's move on to the next game, Toronto and Philly. So looking at Toronto today, got some pretty important news to watch with Fred VanVleet questionable. So VanVleet got injured in their last game. Supposedly he like ripped up his jersey after he got a foul called on him, and he was like pissed about it, and he ripped up his jersey. And people were saying that's why he went to the locker room. But supposedly he went to the locker room because he was actually injured. After he went to the locker room, it was reported that he was doubtful to return last game, and he did not return. He's listed as questionable for today, so this will be something to monitor. If VanVleet does not play, obviously that opens up more usage for Siakam, OG, Scotty Barnes, Gary Trent. All four of those guys would get small bumps up if VanVleet's out, and then I'd assume either Achua or probably Achua would start in place of Fred VanVleet. It could be maybe Kim Birch, but like Kim Birch started the other day and played like 5 minutes. I think it was last game he started and he played 6 minutes. So even like if he starts, I wouldn't play him. But I think they'll probably start Achua if VanVleet's out. If Achua does start, he'll be someone worth considering for value. He's only 4,100. He probably would get like 25 to 30 minutes if he's starting. I would have some interest in him. But let's talk about the main guys. We'll start off with Siakam. So 9K, I think Siakam does look like a pretty good pay-up option today, and I don't know what his ownership's going to be. Like, I think he goes overlooked. I think more people will pay up for Tatum. More people will probably pay up for the Brooklyn guys, maybe. Siakam, so far in the series, he's just kind of been mediocre, but he did have a big game last game. He had 56 Draftkings points, 34 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal. He played 44 minutes, and I think, in this, pretty much, it's an elimination game for the Raptors. I mean, if they want to keep this series alive, they got to win this game. If it's a close game, I think Siakam's playing like 45, 46 minutes. Like, he might get the Kevin Durant minutes, kind of the minutes that Kevin Durant's going to play. Like, that might be what Siakam plays too. He might play close to the entire game. 9K, I mean, I think Siakam has the upside to pay off this price tag, especially when he's playing, 44, 45 minutes. I don't love the matchup against Embiid, but Siakam's just a super productive point-per-minute player. He's a guy that can stuff the stat sheet, can do everything, can score, rebound, get assists. He can get defensive stats. I always, like the upside on Siakam, so I do like him on the slate at 9K. I like him on Yahoo as well. He's for sure one of my favorite center options on Yahoo. $40 over there. Definitely into Siakam on Yahoo. And then, OG, Scotty Barnes, I think are both fine. At their price tags, I don't think either one of them stand out as priority plays today, but obviously if VanVleet sits, both those guys look a little bit more appealing. Scotty Barnes did come off the bench last game, played 26 minutes. I would assume that he's back in the starting lineup today and probably is going to, he should be good to go to play full minutes. So I'm guessing we're going to see we're going to see Scotty Barnes back to his full minutes, probably 35, 36, which I guess at 6K makes him playable. I feel a little bit better about Scotty Barnes if VanVleet's out, but I think he'll be in play regardless. Gary Trent, I do like quite a bit, though. So I was on Gary Trent last slate. He had a really big game once again. He's back-to-back games, Gary Trent has played huge minutes. He played 45 minutes in that overtime game in Game 3. And the last game in Game 4, he played 39 minutes. The usage has been good. He's been taking plenty of shots, 19 and 20 field goal attempts over the last 2 games, 37 and 36 DraftKings points. I mean, 5,700 for Gary Trent when he's playing 38, 40 minutes a night. That makes him in play for me, just regardless. I mean, the minutes are going to be so massive for him. We've seen Toronto really, just give all their starters heavy minutes, and I think, once again, that's going to be the case here with their season on the line. I expect massive minutes for Siakam, OG, Barnes, Trent, VanVleet. If he plays, he should play massive minutes. Gary Trent at 5,700, when he's getting, like I said, 40 minutes a night, I'm fine with him at that price tag. I think that's still a little bit too cheap for him. Obviously, he would look better if Fred VanVleet gets ruled out. But regardless, I think Trent's in play. On Yahoo, he's $20. I do like him as a shooting guard option over there as well. And that's probably it from Toronto. Some of the bench guys, maybe you could target in large field tournaments. But like a guy like Chris Boucher, you could maybe go to. But his minutes have just been so tough to predict. Maybe if VanVleet sits, there'll be a few more minutes just kind of for everyone. And I think Boucher would play a little bit more in that case. But he's just nothing more than a dart throw. So that's it for Toronto. Let's move on to Philly now. So looking at the Sixers, you got Embiid at the top for 10,200. Last game Embiid was pretty disappointing, had 33 DraftKings points, definitely his worst game of the series. And it was reported that Embiid does have a ligament tear. Yeah, so he has a ligament tear in his right thumb. He's playing through injury right now, which is obviously, that's never good. Embiid's a guy that, can dominate any night, can put up a huge game any night. But Toronto has done a really good job at slowing him down. And with this, injury that he's dealing with, this thumb injury, that's not a good sign for Embiid. So I don't think Embiid's going to be someone I really prioritize today. He's not someone I've really played much at all in the playoffs so far. That really hasn't come back to bite me. He hasn't really had a big game yet. This could be the day that Embiid puts up 70 fantasy points, but I'm fine, kind of fading Embiid. Harden at 9-2. I mean, he's an okay option. Harden, always has a ceiling, but at his price tag, I think he's kind of priced where he should be. He probably puts up like 45, 50 DK points, which is going to be solid, but I don't know if Harden has that 60, 70 point upside that you're really looking for in tournaments. The minutes are going to be massive, which obviously makes him in play, but he's not a guy I'm really prioritizing. I think I'd rather go to Siakam, Tatum, Luka. We're going to talk about Katie and Kyrie. I think I'd play over Harden as well. And then you got the other Sixers. You got Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey. So Tobias Harris, he is someone that I've kind of just, not been that high on so far in the postseason, but he's been great. I mean, so far through 4 games in the series, he's played huge minutes every night, 37, 39, 47, and 41 minutes. Production's been consistent, 47, 42, 33, and 38 DraftKings points. We saw during the regular season when Embiid and Harden were both healthy, Tobias Harris was not a guy that really possessed much of a ceiling. He didn't have a ton of huge games during the regular season when he was playing with those guys. But so far in the playoffs, he's kind of turned a corner. The minutes have been massive for him. We've seen Doc Rivers really lean on Embiid, Harden, Harris, and Maxey. I mean, he's playing all 4 of those guys like 40 minutes a night. So I think we're going to get about 40 minutes from Tobias Harris at 6,800. As a power forward option, I think he does stand out as another kind of solid mid-range play. He's pretty affordable on Yahoo too. He's only $23 over there. So I do like Tobias Harris today. I don't mind Tyrese Maxey either. At 6,600, he should play about 40 minutes. His production the last 2 games has not been as good as Harris, but we obviously know that Maxey has a big ceiling and can put up a big game any night. And he had 48 and 51 DK points in the first 2 games of the series. He's more of a GPP option, but Maxey's playable today. Danny Green, the last guy I'll mention as a value option, I'm okay with. He should play probably mid-30s minutes. He only got 28 last game, but I think most nights Danny Green's going to play like probably 33, 34 minutes. It's worth noting that Matisse Thybulle should be back for this game. So Matisse Thybulle obviously had to sit out the games in Toronto because he wasn't vaccinated, but he'll be back for this game. I'm guessing Matisse Thybulle probably gets like 15, 20 minutes. I don't think that's going to take too much away from Danny Green, though. I think Green will get probably low 30s minutes, which makes him a playable value option. But Danny Green's another one of these guys. Really question the upside. He's not a great point per minute player by any means. That's it for Philly, though. Let's move on to the next game. Talk about the last game of the night, Utah and Dallas. So looking at Utah today, at the top, Donovan Mitchell, 8,800, continues to be a solid option every night. I mean, he's been super consistent in the playoffs so far. 52, 45, 45, and 45.5 DraftKings points through 4 games in the series. He's been playing huge minutes, 42, 41, 39, 38 minutes. I think Donovan Mitchell plays about 40 minutes today. I think the price tag at 8,800 still makes him look like a solid option, so no issue with Donovan Mitchell. I think he's definitely in play today. I do like him quite a bit. Rudy Gobert, I mean, his minutes have not been as high as I would like. The last 2 games, he just played 29 and 32 minutes. The production's always the potential for Gobert to have a big game is always there because he's a guy that can score. He can rebound. Obviously, he's a great shot blocker. He has a big ceiling. It's just we haven't really seen it so far in the series. That the Mavs have. They pretty much said we're going to just space the floor, put as many shooters out there as we can, and just keep Gobert like away from the basket. So I don't love the matchup for Gobert. I don't think this series really sets up that well for him, and it's kind of we've kind of seen that so far. It's 7,100. I mean, that is kind of cheap for Gobert, but I still don't think he's someone I'm like building around today. Bojan, though, do like quite a bit as another just solid mid-range option. Bojan should play about 40 minutes in this game. He played 40, 40, 32. He got in foul trouble that game, and then 39 minutes last game. So he's going to get probably 38 to 40 minutes. Obviously, had a disappointing game last game with just 20 DK points in those 39 minutes. But Bojan's been productive so far in the playoffs outside of last game. His usage has been good. He's been taking plenty of shots. He's been getting a couple of rebounds, a couple of assists as well. 5,800 when he's playing 38, 40 minutes a night. I think this is a little bit too cheap of a price tag for Bojan. So I do like Bojan quite a bit today as a mid-range small forward option. Like him on Yahoo too. Very affordable over there, only $19. He looks like one of the better small forward plays on Yahoo in my opinion. And then the other Jazz, Conley and Clarkson. Conley was really disappointing last game. I mean, he's been really inconsistent so far in the postseason. First game, played 34 minutes. Next game, he was in foul trouble, played 22. Game 3, he was great, played 35 minutes. And the last game, he just played 24 minutes. It seems like, Jordan Clarkson, if he plays really well off the bench, that definitely is going to cut into some of Conley's minutes, and that kind of happened last game. Clarkson played really well, got big minutes, 36 minutes. I think when it comes to Conley and Clarkson, I would only play one of the two. Clarkson's been playing so well off the bench lately. He's been really productive that I think he could start taking minutes away from Conley, and obviously that's a little bit risky if you're trying to roster Conley today. So I think one of the two of Conley Clarkson's fine. I think Clarkson at his price tag, 4,700, if he continues to get high 30s minutes or mid 30s minutes off the bench, he's probably going to do enough when he's out there. We know Jordan Clarkson's a high usage player. He's a guy that's going to shoot when he's on the floor. He's not afraid to shoot the ball. He's going to chuck. I think at 4,700, he's a solid value today. I do kind of like Jordan Clarkson. And then Royce O'Neal, I mentioned just as a punt option. I mean, he's going to play probably 32, 34 minutes. He's not a good point per minute player, but he's cheap. He's 4K. He's going to play 30-plus minutes. Again, it's hard to find guys this cheap that are going to play the minutes that O'Neal will. So I did want to mention him as a value option. But let's move on to Dallas now. Talk about the Mavs real quick before we end the video. So at the top, you got Luka for 10-6, who should be good to go for this game to play full minutes. They said Luka was going to be on a minutes limit. They didn't specify what his minutes limit was last game, and he played 34 minutes. He did start as well. I'm guessing Luka's not on a minutes limit today, so he probably plays like 36 to 40 minutes. I think at 10-6, he's a very solid pay-up option. I mean, we know Luka has massive upside, can put up a huge game any night. Utah defensively, I mean, they're a solid defensive team, but I still think Luka can just dominate in any matchup. The only issue with Luka is that it's these, like I said, these playoff slates, it's hard to find value, so paying up for these top-tier studs is kind of tough to do, because when you do that, you're forced to play guys like Royce O'Neal, Danny Green, which, man, I really don't want to be playing those guys that just offer no upside. I've been going more balanced on these slates. If you want to pay up for Luka, though, obviously I have no issue with that. Now, Brunson and Dinwiddie, with Luka back, I'm not in love with either one. Brunson was still solid last game, but at his price tag, he's too expensive right now. Dinwiddie was terrible. I mean, he played 24 minutes and scored 5 points, had 13 DK points. I think pretty much both Brunson and Dinwiddie are out of play with Luka back at their price tags at least. Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock, two guys that don't offer a ton of upside, but they're two guys that are going to play massive minutes. We got 40 minutes from Dorian Finney-Smith last game. Reggie Bullock, I believe, played 46 minutes. I mean, Bullock, he's pretty much playing almost the entire game. He sits for like 2 minutes at the most. So you can definitely go to these guys for value just because they're going to play so many minutes. But obviously the upside on Finney-Smith and Bullock is pretty minimal. And then Maxi Kleber off the bench probably gets like 20, 25 minutes. It's going to depend on how he's playing. Last game he fouled out in 18 minutes. So obviously you don't want to look too much into that one. But like game 2 of this series, when he played really well and he wasn't in foul trouble, he played 32 minutes and had a huge game. He's been in foul trouble the last 2 games, but I think if Kleber's not in foul trouble, he plays about 25 minutes. If I had to guess, maybe more. He's an okay value at 4,300. Dwight Powell saw increased run last game because of the Kleber foul trouble. Played 24 minutes. His minutes have just not been that good in this series. So like even if Kleber gets in foul trouble, I don't know if that's going to be enough for Powell to really get a ton of run. Like we saw them, they were literally playing Dorian Finney-Smith at center last game, just because I think this Mavs team is set on playing small ball right now. They don't want, Powell out there a ton. So not in love with Dwight Powell, but I guess he's playable if you need a value option. But that's really it from Dallas. And that's it for this 3-game Monday night slate. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed, just hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button as well, guys. Go check out PrizePicks, the sponsor of the video. As we mentioned at the beginning, you can sign up for PrizePicks and use my promo code NOAH. They will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And you can take a look at PrizePicks board for Monday night's games. You can see the props they have available. Obviously, as we get closer to tip-off Monday night, they'll start to add a lot more props. You can see everything they have. Make sure you make your selections over or under. Make at least 2 picks, or you can make up to 5 picks and win up to 10 extra money. So give them a try. Sign up. Use code NOAH. Get your first deposit matched up to $100. But that's all that I got for Monday's slate, guys. Appreciate you watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one. Peace.